Nadia Torres had spilled coffee on a lot of people in her 30 years of life, but none of them had looked at her quite like Enzo Caruso did. To be fair, it wasn't entirely her fault. The sidewalk was uneven, her heel caught, and the extra-large caramel latte she'd been carrying launched itself at the most expensive-looking suit she'd ever seen. The man wearing it, tall, dark-haired, radiating the kind of quiet authority that made people move out of his way, stopped mid-stride and looked down at the coffee now dripping off his chest. "Oh my God," Nadia gasped. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me—" She grabbed napkins from her bag, dabbing uselessly at fabric that probably cost more than her rent. "I'll pay for the dry cleaning. Or the whole suit. I'll sell a kidney. Whatever it takes." A kidney seems excessive for a suit. "Have you seen this suit? It looks like it requires organ donation." The man's lips twitched, almost a smile. "It's just clothes." "It's definitely not just clothes. I have eyes. This is the kind of suit that has its own accountant." She was still dabbing, still making it worse, still talking because when Nadia got nervous, she couldn't stop talking. "I'm really sorry. I'm not usually this clumsy. Well, actually, I am this clumsy, but not usually with consequences this expensive. You're interesting. I'm a disaster. There's a difference." "I disagree." He gently took the napkins from her hand. "Stop. You're spreading it around." "Sorry." "Stop apologizing." Okay." He studied her for a moment, really studied her, like he was cataloging details, her dark hair escaping its ponytail, her face flushed with embarrassment, her completely inadequate napkin situation. "Have dinner with me," he said. Nadia blinked. "What?" "Dinner. Tonight. Let me take you somewhere nice. You can tell me more about your kidney donation policy. I just assaulted you with a latte. You spilled coffee on me. It's not the same thing. It feels like the same thing. It's not. Trust me, I know the difference." Something in his expression suggested he actually did know the difference, which should have been alarming but somehow wasn't. "Dinner. Tonight. Say yes. I don't even know your name. Enzo Caruso. Nadia Torres. Nadia." He said it like he was testing the way it felt. "Have dinner with me, Nadia." She should have said no. Strange men on sidewalks, expensive suits, that air of danger underneath the charm, all red flags. Her mother would have a heart attack. Her friends would stage an intervention. "Okay," she said, "but I'm still paying for the dry cleaning." "You're absolutely not." "I absolutely am." "We'll discuss it over dinner." They did discuss it, at a restaurant Nadia had only ever seen in magazines. She insisted on dry cleaning. He refused. She insisted harder. He changed the subject by asking about her work. She was a physical therapist, helping people recover from injuries, and before she knew it, 3 hours had passed and she'd told him more about her life than she usually shared with people she'd known for years. That was 3 months ago. 3 months of dinners and phone calls and slowly realizing that Enzo Caruso was unlike anyone she'd ever met. He was intense, focused. When he looked at her, she felt like the only person in the world. He remembered everything she said, her favorite flowers, her coffee order, the name of her childhood dog. He sent her flowers for no reason, and texted her every morning, and showed up at her apartment with takeout when she mentioned she'd had a long day. He was also, she'd figured out fairly quickly, not a normal businessman. The security detail had been the first clue. The deference everyone showed him was the second. The way certain conversations stopped when she entered a room was the third. By their 4th date, Nadia had pieced together enough to understand that real estate development was probably a euphemism for something significantly more complicated. She hadn't asked. He hadn't volunteered. They existed in a careful space where she knew enough to be cautious and not enough to be terrified. Tonight, though, felt different. Enzo had been nervous all evening, or as close to nervous as a man like him got. He'd made reservations at the restaurant where they'd had their first date. He'd sent her a dress beforehand, deep green silk with a note that said, "For tonight." He'd been looking at her all evening like he was working up to something. "You're staring," Nadia said over dessert. "I'm appreciating. You're making me nervous." "That's not my intention." He reached across the table, took her hand. "I wanted to tell you something." "That sounds serious." "It is." He took a breath. Enzo Caruso, who never seemed uncertain about anything, actually taking a breath to steady himself. "These 3 months have been... I didn't expect you, Nadia. I didn't expect to feel this way. I've spent a long time keeping people at a distance, keeping my life separate from anything real, and then you spilled coffee on me and couldn't stop talking, and I thought that I was insane, that I wanted to know you, everything about you, and the more I learned, the more I wanted." He squeezed her hand. "I love you." Nadia's heart stopped. "What? I love you. I'm in love with you. I wanted you to know. I wanted to say it properly, in a place that matters, so you'd know I mean it." "Enzo, you don't have to say it back. I'm not asking for anything. I just needed you to know how I feel, because you matter to me. More than anyone has in a very long time." Nadia looked at him. This man who'd appeared in her life through caffeine-related violence and somehow become the center of it, who was powerful and dangerous, and looked at her like she was precious. "I love you too," she said. Enzo's face did something she'd never seen before. Softened. Opened, like walls coming down. "Say it again." "I love you. I know it's only been 3 months. I know this is probably too fast, but I love you, Enzo. Enzo?" A voice. Not Nadia's, coming from beside their table. They both turned, and Nadia felt her entire world shift. A woman stood there, beautiful, in that cold, perfect way that made other women feel inadequate. Dark hair, expensive clothes, Italian features, and behind her, holding each of her hands, were 2 small children, twins, maybe 3 years old, a boy and a girl. The girl had Enzo's eyes. "Bianca," Enzo said, and his voice was ice. "What are you doing here?" "I needed to see you." Bianca's gaze flicked to Nadia, dismissive, assessing, hostile, then back to Enzo. "We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. We have 2 children to talk about." Bianca pulled the twins forward slightly. "Leo, Mia, say hello to your father." The restaurant went silent, or maybe it was just Nadia's ears, roaring with sudden white noise. "My what?" Enzo's voice was flat, controlled. But Nadia could see his hand trembling on the table. "Your children. Our children. The ones you've never met because I thought..." Bianca paused, manufactured emotion crossing her face. "I thought I could do this alone. But they miss you. They ask about their daddy, and I couldn't keep them from you anymore." Nadia watched Enzo's face cycle through shock, confusion, rage, settling finally on something that looked like pain. "You're lying." "I'm not. Look at them, Enzo. Look at Mia's eyes. Look at Leo's chin. They're yours. They've always been yours." The little girl, Mia, looked up at Enzo with dark eyes that were, indeed, uncannily similar to his. She couldn't have been more than 3. She was clutching a stuffed rabbit and looking confused about why the adults were acting strange. "Daddy?" she said, the word clearly coached. "Mama said you'd come home." Nadia felt sick. "Enzo," she said quietly, "what is this?" He turned to her, and the devastation on his face was real. "I don't know. I swear to God, Nadia. I don't know. I didn't... She never told me. Because you didn't deserve to know. Bianca cut in smoothly. After what you did, after how you treated me, I had every right to raise them alone. I treated you... Enzo stopped, controlled himself visibly. This is not the place for this conversation. Then let's go somewhere private, your apartment, where we can discuss this like a family. We're not a family. We have children together. That makes us a family whether you like it or not. Bianca's eyes cut to Nadia again. Unless your girlfriend wants to weigh in. Nadia should have stayed quiet, should have let Enzo handle it, should have sat there being shocked and victimized and passive. Instead, she stood up. I'm Nadia, she said, extending her hand toward Bianca with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Since Enzo seems too stunned to introduce us, I'm his girlfriend. And you are? Bianca's expression flickered, surprise at the direct approach. Bianca Caruso, his ex-wife. Ex-wife, interesting. And these are your children? Our children, mine and Enzo's. Also interesting. Nadia looked down at the twins. The little boy, Leo, was staring at her with open curiosity. The girl was still clutching her rabbit. Hi there, I'm Nadia. That's a very nice rabbit. Mia clutched it tighter. Her name is Flopsy. That's an excellent name for a rabbit. Nadia straightened, turned back to Bianca. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to leave this restaurant because you've already made enough of a scene. We're going to go somewhere private, not Enzo's apartment, somewhere neutral. And you're going to explain exactly what's going on. With proof. Because if you think I'm going to let you waltz in here and blow up our lives with claims you can't substantiate, you've significantly underestimated who you're dealing with. Bianca's perfect composure cracked slightly. Excuse me? I said what I said. Enzo is in shock, which is understandable if what you're saying is true. But I'm not, so right now you're dealing with me, and I want proof. A DNA test will prove. Great. Then we'll do a DNA test, tonight, if possible. Until then, no one's going anywhere near anyone's apartment and no one's making any assumptions. Nadia looked at Enzo. Is that okay with you? He was staring at her like she'd grown a second head. You're not leaving. Why would I leave? Because I apparently have children I didn't know about. Because my ex-wife just showed up in the middle of our dinner. Because this is insane. It is insane. But I told you I love you about 4 minutes ago, and I meant it. So no, I'm not leaving. I'm handling this. Unless you don't want me to? He stopped, looked at her with something like wonder. No. Stay. Please. I need you here. Then I'm here. She turned back to Bianca. You heard him. Let's go somewhere we can talk. I don't take orders from... From what? From the woman your ex-husband loves? From someone who's not going to fall apart because you staged a dramatic restaurant confrontation? From anyone at all? Nadia stepped closer, lowering her voice. I don't know what your game is. Maybe those kids really are his. They look like him, I'll give you that. But the way you're playing this, the theatrical appearance, the coached daddy from a 3-year-old, the timing, that's manipulation. And I don't respond well to manipulation. Bianca's eyes went cold. You have no idea who I am. I know exactly who you are. You're someone who wants something. Let's figure out what that is before anyone does anything stupid. 2 hours later, they were in a private room at a medical facility Enzo apparently had connections to, because of course he did, watching a technician take DNA samples from Enzo, Leo, and Mia. The twins were remarkably calm about having their cheeks swabbed. Leo had declared it tickly and giggled. Mia had asked for a sticker and been given 3, which she'd arranged carefully on her rabbit. They were sweet kids. Whatever was going on with their mother, the kids were innocent. Results in 24 hours, the technician said. Rush job, as requested. Thank you. Enzo's voice was hoarse. He'd barely spoken since the restaurant, just followed Nadia's lead, watching her manage the situation like she'd done it 1,000 times. Bianca sat in the corner, arms crossed, clearly not having expected this outcome. She'd wanted drama, chaos. Enzo alone and overwhelmed. Instead, she'd gotten Nadia organizing medical tests and asking pointed questions about custody and legal documents. "The children need to sleep," Bianca said finally. "It's past their bedtime." "Where are you staying?" "A hotel near Times Square." "Fine. Go back to your hotel. We'll call you when the results come in." Nadia looked at Enzo. "Unless you want to talk to her more tonight?" "No." The word was immediate. "Not tonight. I can't. Not tonight." "Then we're done here." Nadia picked up her bag. "Bianca, we'll be in touch. Leo, Mia, it was nice to meet you." "Are you Daddy's friend?" Leo asked. Nadia's heart clenched. Yes, I'm Daddy's friend. Are you nice?" "I try to be." "Okay." He seemed to accept this. "Bye." "Bye, sweetheart." In the car afterward, Enzo's car, his driver taking them somewhere, anywhere away from that medical facility, Nadia finally let herself breathe. "Pull over," Enzo said suddenly. "Anywhere, just pull over." The driver obeyed. Empty street, quiet neighborhood, late enough that no one was around. Enzo got out of the car. Nadia followed. He walked a few steps away, then stopped. Stood there with his back to her, shoulders rigid, hands and fists at his sides. "Enzo, I didn't know." His voice cracked. "I swear to you, Nadia, I didn't know. She left me 4 years ago. Said she was bored. Said I was too controlling, too dangerous, too everything. She never mentioned. She never even hinted. I believe you." He turned. "You do? I saw your face in that restaurant. That wasn't the face of someone who knew. That was shock. Pure shock." She moved closer. "But Enzo, if those kids are yours, I know. Everything changes. I know. You'll be a father. To 2 3-year-olds you've never met. That's huge. I know." He laughed, bitter, broken. 30 minutes ago I was telling you I love you for the first time. Now I might have children. This is not how tonight was supposed to go." "No, it wasn't." Nadia took his hands. "But here's what I know. I meant what I said in that restaurant. I love you. That doesn't disappear because your ex showed up with a bombshell. If anything, it means we deal with the bombshell together. You don't have to stay for this. This isn't what you signed up for. I signed up for you, whatever that means, including this. Nadia, I'm not saying it'll be easy. I'm not saying I have any idea how to handle this, but I'm not running. I told you I'd stay and I meant it." Enzo pulled her into his arms, held her like she was the only solid thing in a world that had just shifted under his feet. "How are you real?" he murmured against her hair. "I spilled coffee on you. That's how all the best relationships start." He laughed, watery, but real. "I love you. I love you too, even though you apparently come with surprise twins. Possible surprise twins. We don't have the results yet. Enzo, those kids look exactly like you. Leo has your chin. Mia has your eyes. They're yours. I know." He pulled back. "God, I know. I looked at them and I knew." "How do you feel about that?" "Terrified, furious at Bianca, overwhelmed, and somewhere underneath all of that," he stopped. "Happy. Is that insane? To be happy about children I didn't know existed until 2 hours ago? It's not insane. It's human. I'm not sure I know how to be a father. No one knows how to be a parent until they are one. You'll figure it out." "With you?" "What?" "Will you figure it out with me?" I know that's asking a lot. I know we've only been together 3 months. But Nadia, I can't imagine doing this without you. I don't want to imagine it. Nadia looked at him, at this man who'd gone from declaring his love to discovering he was a father in the span of an hour, who was asking her to step into something enormous and complicated and utterly unexpected. Yes, she said. I'll figure it out with you. God help us both. God help us both, he agreed. They stood there on the empty street, holding each other, while somewhere across the city, 2 3-year-olds slept in a hotel room, waiting for a test that would change everything. 24 hours. 24 hours until they knew for certain. But Nadia already knew. She'd seen those eyes. Leo and Mia were Enzo's children, and somehow, impossibly, they were about to become part of her life too. The DNA results came back positive. 97% probability that Enzo Caruso was the biological father of Leonardo and Mia. Nadia sat next to him in his apartment while he stared at the paperwork, watching his expression cycle through confirmation, grief, and finally, a terrible kind of acceptance. They're mine, he said quietly. They're yours. 3 years. They've been alive for 3 years and I didn't know. That's not your fault, isn't it? He looked at her. I should have... When she left, I should have... Should have what? Read her mind? Known she was pregnant when she apparently didn't tell you? I should have checked, followed up, made sure... Enzo. Stop. Nadia took the papers from his hands. You can't torture yourself over what you didn't know. What matters now is what you do next. What do I do next? You meet your children properly, not in a restaurant ambush or a medical facility. You sit down with them, learn who they are, start building a relationship. And Bianca? That's more complicated. Nadia had been thinking about this all night. She's their mother. She's been raising them for 3 years. Whatever her motivations for showing up now, she has rights. And the kids clearly love her. You could see that. So we have to find a way to coexist. She didn't tell me I had children for 3 years. I know. She let me believe I'd never have a family. I know that too. And now she shows up wanting, what, money, reconciliation, to blow up my life out of spite? Probably all 3. But we can figure out the legal side of this. Custody, child support, whatever the courts decide. What we can't do is let her control the narrative. Enzo looked at her with something like amazement. How are you so calm about this? I'm not calm. I'm organized. There's a difference. Nadia managed a small smile. I had a complete breakdown in my bathroom at 3 a.m. last night. Cried for an hour. Called my mother, who told me I was insane for staying. Then I got up, made coffee, and made a plan. That's how I cope. Your mother thinks you're insane? My mother thinks anyone who dates a man with surprise twins is insane. She's probably right. She is right. You should run. I'm not running. We've been over this. I'm just giving you opportunities to change your mind. I appreciate the gallantry. I'm still not running. She stood up, pulled him to his feet. Now, call Bianca, arrange to see the kids, and I'll be here when you get back. You're not coming? For the first meeting? No. This should be about you and them. They need to know their father before they're confused by Daddy's girlfriend. One thing at a time. I don't know if I can do this alone. You can. You're Enzo Caruso. You run a business empire and occasionally terrify grown men. You can handle 2 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds are scarier than grown men. Probably true, but you'll manage. He kissed her, deep and grateful, and slightly desperate. I love you. I need you to know that. Whatever happens with this, whatever complications arise, I love you. I love you too. Now go meet your children. The first meeting was at a park. Neutral territory. Bianca had suggested her hotel. Enzo had refused. The park was public, safe, and had a playground where the kids could burn energy while the adults figured out how to coexist. Nadia stayed home and tried not to obsess about how it was going. She failed. Completely. By hour 2, she'd cleaned her entire apartment, reorganized her closet, and stress-baked 3 dozen cookies. When Enzo finally called, she nearly dropped her phone. How did it go? They're incredible. His voice was raw with emotion. Leo talked about dinosaurs for 30 minutes straight. He knows more species than I do. And Mia, she's quieter, watches everything. But when she smiles, Nadia, she has my mother's smile. My mother died before I could have children, and I thought that was lost. But it's not. It's there. In Mia. Nadia's eyes filled with tears she hadn't expected. That's beautiful. They're beautiful. They're funny and curious, and they've had no father for 3 years, and they accepted me. Just like that. Leo asked if I'd come see his dinosaur toys. Mia asked if I'd push her on the swings, like I'd always been there. Kids are resilient like that. I don't deserve them. Stop that. I've done terrible things in my life, Nadia. Things I can't take back. And somehow, I've been given these 2 perfect human beings who look at me like I hung the moon. Then be worthy of that look, every day. That's all you can do. There was silence on the line. Then, can you come over? Please? I need to see you. I'll be there in 20 minutes. When she arrived, Enzo was sitting on his couch looking shell-shocked but happy, a strange combination that suited him. Tell me everything, Nadia said, curling up next to him. From the beginning. So he did. Every detail of the 2 hours he'd spent with Leo and Mia. The dinosaur facts. Leo's current obsession was the velociraptor, which he insisted everyone pronounced wrong. The way Mia had brought Flopsy and introduced the rabbit formally, complete with a handshake. The moment Leo had grabbed his hand to pull him toward the slide, and Enzo had realized he would die for this child he'd known for 90 minutes. I'm a father, Enzo said when he'd finished. It still doesn't feel real. It'll take time. Bianca wants to meet tomorrow. Discuss arrangements. His voice hardened on the last word. She has a list of demands. Of course she does. Financial support, which is reasonable. I should have been supporting them all along. But she also wants... He stopped. She wants us to try again. Try again? As a couple. She says the kids need a unified family. 2 parents together. She says it's best for them. Nadia felt something cold settle in her stomach. What did you say? I said no, obviously. I said I'd support the children, be present in their lives, share custody. But I'm not getting back together with her. I'm with you. I love you. That's not negotiable. How did she take that? Badly. She made some comments about you. About how a coffee accident gold digger wasn't suitable to be around her children. I told her that wasn't her decision to make. Gold digger? That's creative. She's threatened by you. She didn't expect you to stay after her little restaurant performance. She expected you to run and leave me vulnerable. Surprise. Very much surprise. Enzo pulled her closer. She's going to make this difficult. I need you to know that. She's angry that I moved on, and she's going to use the kids as leverage. It's going to be ugly. I can handle ugly. I know you can. That's one of the reasons I love you. One of the reasons? There's a list. It's extensive. I'll share it sometime. I look forward to that. They sat together in silence for a while, processing the new shape of their lives. 3 months ago, Nadia had spilled coffee on a stranger. Now she was in love with a man who'd just discovered he was a father, dealing with a vindictive ex-wife who saw her as competition, and somehow trying to build a future that included 2 children she'd barely met. "What are you thinking?" Enzo asked. "That my mother was right. This is insane. And yet, you're still here. And yet I'm still here." She kissed him. "I told you, I'm not running." The next 3 weeks were chaos. Bianca's arrangements turned out to be a laundry list of demands that ranged from reasonable, child support, structured visitation, to absurd. Enzo should buy her an apartment. Nadia should not be allowed around the children. They should have a joint bank account for emergencies. Enzo hired lawyers. Lots of lawyers. The best lawyers money could buy. Bianca hired her own lawyers. Less good but equally aggressive. And in the middle of it all, Leo and Mia existed, innocent, unaware of the battle being waged over them, just happy that the daddy they'd been told about was finally in their lives. Enzo saw them 3 times a week at first, then 4. Then Bianca started canceling visits, claiming the children were sick or had other activities, until Enzo's lawyers filed an emergency motion and a judge ordered regular visitation that Bianca couldn't interfere with. "She's using them as weapons," Enzo said one night, exhausted from another day of legal battles. "Her own children, weapons. Some people do that. I don't understand it. They're 3 years old. They just want to play and be loved. How can she?" Because to her, they're not just children. They're leverage, control, a way to stay connected to you. I don't want to be connected to her. She doesn't care what you want. She cares what she wants. Nadia had been right about Bianca's motivations. It had taken approximately 2 weeks for the full picture to emerge. Bianca had left Enzo 4 years ago for another man, a wealthy man who'd promised her everything. They'd been together for 3 years while she raised the twins, letting him believe he was their father. Then he'd found out he wasn't. DNA test, prompted by his mother who'd been suspicious from the start. When the results came back negative, he'd thrown Bianca out, canceled credit cards, stopped payments, removed her from his life entirely. Suddenly alone, out of money, and with 2 children to support, Bianca had done the only thing she could think of: go back to the real father. But she'd discovered Enzo had moved on, had found someone new, someone who didn't run when complications arose. And that, more than anything, had made her furious. "She texted me today," Nadia told Enzo one evening. "Bianca. Somehow she got my number." "What did she say?" "That I should enjoy my time with you while it lasts. That you'll come back to her eventually because she's the mother of your children. That I'm just a temporary distraction." Nadia shrugged. I didn't respond. That was the right call. I know, but I wanted to respond. I wanted to tell her that the difference between us is that I stayed when things got hard, and she ran when they got boring. That she had you and threw you away, and now she's angry that someone else picked up what she discarded. You're angry. Of course I'm angry. She's been manipulating you for weeks, canceling visits, making demands, trying to drive a wedge between us. And the worst part is, she's using those kids to do it. Leo and Mia don't understand why some days they see Daddy and some days they don't. They don't understand why Mommy is always upset. They're 3. They just want stability. I'm trying to give them that. I know, but Enzo... She hesitated. I think you need to push for more custody. Real custody, not just visitation. Those kids need a stable home, and right now Bianca is too focused on hurting you to provide that. You think I should fight for custody? I think you should consider it. Talk to your lawyers. See what's possible. That would mean a court battle, a real one. Bianca would fight with everything she has. Probably. But isn't that fight worth it? For Leo and Mia? Enzo was quiet for a long moment. Yes, he said finally. It's worth it. The custody battle took 2 months. 2 months of lawyers and motions and evaluations and stress. Bianca fought dirty. Accusations of danger due to Enzo's business associations, claims that Nadia was an unfit influence, attempts to make the children testify about things they didn't understand. But Enzo fought smarter. He had documentation of every canceled visit, every manipulative text, every time Bianca had used the children as bargaining chips. He had character witnesses, teachers, doctors, neighbors who'd seen him with Leo and Mia and testified that he was a devoted father. He had evidence of Bianca's financial motivations, her pattern of deception, her willingness to lie about paternity for years. And he had Nadia, who'd sat through every hearing, held his hand through every setback, and helped him stay focused when Bianca's tactics made him want to burn everything down. Joint custody, the judge ruled finally. Week on, week off, shared holidays, and given the documentation of the mother's attempts to interfere with the father's relationship with his children, any further obstruction will result in modification of this arrangement. It wasn't full custody, but it was enough. In the courthouse hallway afterward, Bianca approached them. Her perfect composure was cracked, anger visible beneath the surface. "This isn't over," she said to Enzo. "It's over, Bianca. Accept it. Move on." "You think you've won? You think she's—" She gestured at Nadia with contempt. "Going to stick around when things get hard?" "Things have been hard for 3 months. She's still here. She doesn't understand what you are, what you really do. Wait until she finds out and watch how fast she runs. She already knows. She stayed anyway. That's the difference between you and her, Bianca. When things got complicated, you left. She didn't." Bianca's face went white. "You told her? About the family business?" "I didn't have to. She figured it out, and she made her choice." Enzo took Nadia's hand. "We're done here. You'll have the kids next week. Treat them well. Don't use them as weapons. And maybe, just maybe, we can eventually figure out how to co-parent without destroying each other." They walked away. Behind them, Nadia could feel Bianca's glare like heat on her back. "She's going to hate me forever," Nadia said once they were in the car. "Probably. I can live with that. So can I." Enzo squeezed her hand. "Thank you. For all of it. For staying, for fighting, for being here. I told you, I love you. This is what that looks like." "I'm starting to understand that." 2 days later, it was Enzo's first week with the kids. Full week, just him and Leo and Mia, in his apartment that he'd hastily child-proofed with the help of approximately 7 parenting books and Nadia's patient guidance. "Are you sure you don't want me there?" Nadia asked. "I want you there desperately. But I also need to do this first part alone, prove to myself that I can. Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense." She kissed him. "But call me if you need anything, even at 3 a.m. "Even at 3 a.m.? "Even then. That's what partners do." "Partners." He smiled. "I like that word." "Me too. Now go be a dad. I'll see you when the week's over." The week was chaos. Beautiful, exhausting, wonderful chaos. Enzo learned that Leo had opinions about everything, especially breakfast cereal, which had to be the right kind, or there would be negotiations. He learned that Mia was afraid of thunderstorms and would only calm down if he held Flopsy too. He learned that bedtime was a process involving 3 stories, 1 song, and exactly the right arrangement of stuffed animals. He learned what it meant to be needed, really needed, in a way that had nothing to do with power or money or fear. And he learned that he was good at this. Not perfect. There were disasters, messes, moments where he had no idea what he was doing. But good enough. Present. Trying. When Nadia came over at the end of the week, she found him on the couch with both kids asleep on him, looking happier than she'd ever seen him. "How was it?" she whispered. "Best week of my life," he whispered back. "Really?" "Really." He looked at the children, then at her. "This is what I want. This life, these kids, you, all of it. I want that too. Good. He smiled. Because I'm never letting you go. 6 months after the restaurant ambush, 6 months of custody battles and legal drama and learning how to be a parent, Enzo Caruso finally felt like he was finding his footing. Joint custody was working. Bianca had begrudgingly stopped fighting him at every turn. The kids were thriving. Leo was obsessed with dinosaurs now more than ever. He'd graduated to the terrifying Spinosaurus. And Mia had started preschool and declared it acceptable, which was high praise from her. And Nadia was still there, still present, still patient, still somehow turning a complicated situation into something that felt like family. Nadia! Leo came running the moment she arrived at Enzo's apartment for their weekly dinner. Nadia, did you know the Spinosaurus could swim? It's the only dinosaur that could swim. Well, maybe not the only one, but it was really good at swimming. Like really, really good. I did not know that. Nadia crouched to his level, giving him her full attention. That's incredible. Was it bigger than a T-Rex? Yes. Well, maybe the same size. But it had a sail, on its back, like a shark kind of, and its teeth. Leo, let Nadia breathe, Enzo said, appearing behind his son with an amused expression. She just got here. But she needs to know about the Spinosaurus. I absolutely need to know about the Spinosaurus, Nadia agreed seriously. But maybe we can talk about it over dinner. You can tell me everything. Everything? There's a lot. I have time. Leo considered this. Okay. But you have to really listen. Not pretend, listen. I promise to really listen. Satisfied, Leo ran off to find his dinosaur books. Enzo pulled Nadia in for a kiss. You're amazing with him, he murmured. He's easy to be amazing with. He's 4, and he knows more about dinosaurs than most paleontologists. He's 4 3/4. He'll correct you if you forget the 3/4. Noted. Nadia smiled. Where's Mia? In her room. She's been quiet today. Quiet how? Not upset quiet, thinking quiet. She does that sometimes. Disappears into her head for a while. Can I go say hi? She'd like that. She asks about you when you're not here. When is Nadia coming? Is Nadia coming tomorrow? Can Nadia braid my hair? She asks that? Constantly. You're her favorite person after Flopsy, and honestly, I think you're catching up. Nadia found Mia in her room. A room Enzo had decorated in soft pinks and purples because Mia had declared those the best colors. She was sitting on her bed with Flopsy, looking out the window. Hey, sweet girl, Nadia said softly from the doorway. Can I come in? Mia nodded. Nadia sat beside her on the bed. Your daddy said you've been thinking today. Want to talk about it? For a moment, Mia didn't respond. Then, quietly, Mommy said something. What did she say? She said you're not going to stay. She said Daddy's girlfriends never stay. She said you'll leave, and then we'll be sad. Nadia's heart cracked. This child, this beautiful, perceptive, already wounded child, was afraid of being abandoned. Again. Can I tell you a secret? Nadia asked. Mia nodded. I'm not going anywhere. I know your mommy said that, and maybe she believes it. But I don't. I love your daddy. I love Leo. And I love you. Very much. And I'm not leaving. You promise? I promise. Pinky promise. Nadia held out her pinky. That's the most serious kind of promise there is. Mia looked at the pinky, then slowly linked her own with Nadia's. Okay, she said. I believe you. Thank you for telling me what your mommy said. You can always tell me things, even if they're hard. Even if they make you sad? Even then. I'd rather know than not know. Mia considered this. Nadia? Yes? Can you braid my hair? Daddy tries, but he's really bad at it. I would love to braid your hair. They spent the next 20 minutes doing elaborate braids, while Mia explained the complex social dynamics of her preschool class. Apparently, there was drama involving a stolen purple crayon, and Mia had opinions. She said she didn't take it, but everyone saw her take it, Mia said, outraged. That's not fair. It's not fair. What did you do? I gave her my purple crayon, because she obviously needed it more than me. That was very mature of you. I know. I'm very mature. Mia looked at her finished braids in the mirror. These are beautiful. You're better than Mommy at braids. Don't tell her I said this, but I'm better than most people at braids. It's a skill. Can you teach me? Absolutely. We'll practice on Flopsy. Flopsy would like that. She wants to be beautiful too. Dinner was chaos in the best way. Leo dominated the conversation with Spinosaurus facts while Mia occasionally interjected with preschool updates. Enzo sat back and watched his children interact with Nadia like she'd always been there. This was his family, the one he'd never expected to have. Later, after the kids were in bed, 3 stories, 1 song, exact stuffed animal arrangement, Enzo and Nadia sat on the couch with wine. Mia told me what Bianca said, Nadia mentioned, about me leaving. Enzo's expression darkened. What exactly did she say? That girlfriends don't stay, that I'll leave and they'll be sad. She's poisoning them against you. She's scared. Her whole plan was to use the kids to get you back, and it didn't work. Now she's watching you build a family without her, and she doesn't know how to handle it. That doesn't excuse anything, but it explains it. Nadia sipped her wine. I made Mia a pinky promise that I'm not going anywhere. That seemed to help. You pinky promised, my daughter. I did. It's a serious commitment. I don't take pinky promises lightly. Enzo was quiet for a moment. Then, I want to make it official. Make what official? Us. This. Everything. He turned to face her fully. I was going to wait. Plan something romantic, do it properly. But after what you just told me, after knowing you made a promise to my daughter, I don't want to wait anymore. Enzo, I love you. I've loved you since you assaulted me with caffeine and couldn't stop apologizing. I've loved you through 3 months of dating and 6 months of chaos and every complication my life has thrown at you. You stayed when anyone else would have run. You love my children like they're your own. You make me want to be better than I am. I don't have a ring. I didn't plan this, but I'm asking anyway. He took her hands. Marry me. Be my wife. Be part of this family officially. Let me spend the rest of my life proving I deserve you. Nadia stared at him. You're proposing. Right now. On your couch. I know it's not romantic. It's perfect. What? It's perfect. We didn't start romantic. We started with coffee and chaos. Why should the proposal be different? She was smiling, tears gathering in her eyes. Yes, I'll marry you. I'll be part of this family. I'll keep my pinky promise to Mia forever. Really? Really? Did you think I'd say no? I thought you might want time. We've only been together 9 months. 9 months and a lifetime of complications. I think that counts as accelerated vetting. She kissed him. I love you, Enzo Caruso. Mob boss, surprise father, terrible hair braider. I love all of it. I'm going to learn to braid hair. I've been watching tutorials. I'll teach you, along with Mia and Flopsy. Flopsy gets lessons too? Flopsy is very invested in her appearance. They sat together, engaged now. While somewhere down the hall, 2 children slept peacefully, unaware that their lives had just changed again. But this time, the change was good. Telling the kids was surprisingly easy. Daddy and Nadia are getting married, Enzo explained the next morning over breakfast. That means Nadia is going to be part of our family officially, like a stepmom. Leo looked up from his cereal. Does that mean Nadia lives here? Eventually, yes. Cool. He went back to eating. Can she make pancakes? You're bad at pancakes. I can make pancakes, Nadia confirmed. Good. Can we have them tomorrow? Absolutely. Mia was quieter, processing. Stepmom like in Cinderella? Not like in Cinderella, Nadia said quickly. In Cinderella, the stepmom is mean. I'm not going to be mean. I'm going to be the same Nadia, just with a different title. Will you still braid my hair? Every day if you want. Will you still really listen when I talk? Not pretend, listen. Always really listen, I promise. Mia considered this. Then, okay, I approve. You approve? Daddy said he was going to ask you to marry him. I told him he should because you're nice and you like Flopsy. So I approve. Enzo looked caught. You told her? I wanted her blessing. Leo's too. Leo said yes because of the pancakes, didn't he? Leo's priorities are very clear. Telling Bianca was less easy. You're marrying her? Bianca's voice was ice over the phone. Yes. I wanted you to hear it from me before the kids mentioned it. How thoughtful. Letting me know my children are getting a stepmother. A stepmother who loves them and treats them well. That's what matters. She's not their mother. She's not trying to be. She's trying to be part of their lives in a different way. And Bianca? Enzo's voice softened slightly. I hope, eventually, you can accept that. For Leo and Mia's sake. They love you. They love Nadia. They don't need to choose. There's room for everyone. Long silence. Then, you really love her. I really do. She's not going to leave. She's not going anywhere. How do you know? Because she stayed through everything. When you showed up at the restaurant, when the custody battle got ugly, when everything was complicated and painful and hard, she stayed. That's how I know. More silence. When Bianca spoke again, some of the ice had melted. I was wrong about her. At the restaurant. I thought she'd run. She's stronger than she looks. Clearly. A pause. I don't like this. I don't like her, but... Bianca's voice cracked slightly. The kids talk about her, all the time. How she really listens. How she braids Mia's hair. How she knows dinosaur facts because Leo taught her. They're happy. They are happy. That's what I want for them. Even if I hate how we got here. I know. That's what I want too. Don't mess this up, Enzo. If you marry her and it falls apart, Leo and Mia are the ones who'll suffer. I know. I won't mess it up. You better not. She hung up without saying goodbye. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't acceptance. But it was something. A beginning, maybe, of something that could eventually become peaceful co-parenting. The wedding was small, intimate, family and close friends only, in a garden venue outside the city on a perfect spring afternoon. Leo was the ring bearer, a responsibility he took extremely seriously, marching down the aisle with military precision while clutching the pillow like it contained nuclear codes. Mia was the flower girl, scattering petals and occasionally stopping to wave at people she recognized. Flopsy came too, dressed in a tiny white bow that Mia had insisted was essential. Nadia's mother had flown in from Arizona, still skeptical about the whole situation, but gradually won over by Enzo's obvious devotion and the children's obvious love for her daughter. He's not what I expected, her mother admitted before the ceremony. When you told me about the mob thing, I thought, well, I don't know what I thought. But he looks at you like you're everything. He's good, Mom. Complicated, but good. I can see that. And those kids, they adore you. I adore them too. Then that's all that matters. Her mother squeezed her hand. Be happy, Mija. You deserve it. The ceremony was simple, vows that were heartfelt rather than flowery, an exchange of rings, a kiss that made Leo giggle and Mia hide her face in Flopsy's fur. And then they were married. Officially. Legally. Forever. At the reception, Enzo pulled Nadia onto the dance floor for their first dance as husband and wife. "Mrs. Caruso," he said, testing the name. "That's me now. How does it feel?" Perfect. Terrifying. Right. All three at once? That's been our relationship from the start. Why change now? He laughed. Fair point. You know what I keep thinking about? What? The coffee. That first day. If I hadn't tripped, if I hadn't spilled my latte on your absurdly expensive suit, we never would have met. We never would have met. And Leo and Mia wouldn't have a stepmom. And you'd still be running your empire alone. And I'd be, I don't know, still in my apartment, still going through the motions, still waiting for something that felt real. This feels real. This feels incredibly real. She rested her head on his shoulder. Thank you for not getting mad about the coffee. Thank you for being a disaster. It worked out in my favor. They danced. Around them, their families celebrated. His complicated world, and her simpler one, merged together into something new. Mia appeared at their knees, tugging Enzo's pants. "Daddy, can I dance too?" "Of course, Principessa." He scooped her up, held her between them. "Now it's a family dance." "Leo too," Mia insisted. Leo was retrieved from his very serious conversation with the dessert table about which cake was best. He joined reluctantly. Dancing was not his thing, but allowed himself to be pulled into the family huddle. 4 people, 2 small, 2 grown, all connected now by love and law and choice. "This is our family," Enzo said, looking at all of them. "You know that, right?" "Obviously," Leo said. "We've been a family for ages. Have we?" "Since Nadia started making pancakes, that's when I knew. The pancakes were the deciding factor." "They're really good pancakes," Mia nodded seriously. "They are really good pancakes." Nadia laughed. "I'm glad my pancakes met your standards." "They exceeded standards," Leo corrected. "That's better than meeting them." "My apologies. Exceeded standards." Acceptable apology. The reception went late. Later than Nadia had expected, given that half the guests were under 5 feet tall. But the kids were troopers, lasting until nearly 10 before crashing in a pile on a couch in the corner, Leo's head on Mia's shoulder, Flopsy clutched between them. "I should take them home," Enzo said, watching them sleep. "We should take them home," Nadia corrected. "I'm their stepmom now. That's official." "You're right. We should." He smiled. "Ready to go home, Mrs. Caruso?" "More than ready." Epilogue, 2 years later. The coffee mug in Nadia's hand said, "World's best stepmom." Leo had picked it out himself, last Mother's Day, with a serious explanation that she wasn't technically his mom, so he couldn't give her a mom mug, but she was the best stepmom, so this was accurate. Mia had given her a handmade card with a drawing of their family, all 4 of them plus Flopsy, standing in front of what was either a house or a very elaborate cake. Mia insisted it was both. 2 years of marriage, 2 years of pancake sundaes and dinosaur lectures and hair braiding lessons, 2 years of Leo starting kindergarten. He'd already corrected his teacher's pronunciation of velociraptor, and Mia discovering a passion for ballet, and Enzo somehow becoming a soccer dad, despite having no idea how soccer worked. 2 years of being a family. Bianca had eventually stopped fighting. Not because she'd forgiven anyone, but because she'd moved on, met someone new, started a different chapter. She was still difficult during custody exchanges, still made passive-aggressive comments about Nadia's cooking. But the active warfare had ended. They'd settled into an uneasy truce that worked well enough for the kids. "Mama Nadia," Mia came running into the kitchen, using the name she'd started using 6 months ago, the first time she'd called Nadia anything other than just Nadia. It still made Nadia's heart squeeze every time. "Mama Nadia, Leo said Spinosauruses are better than ballerinas." "They are!" Leo shouted from somewhere in the living room. "They are not!" "Kids," Enzo appeared, coffee in hand, looking like the frazzled father he'd become. "It's 7 a.m. We don't have extinction-level debates before breakfast." "It's not a debate. It's a fact," Leo insisted. "Ballerinas are better," Mia countered. "How about this?" Nadia said, crouching to their level. "What if there was a ballerina Spinosaurus? Would that be the best thing ever?" Both children considered this seriously. "A Spinosaurus in a tutu," Leo said slowly. "With really good posture," Mia added. "That would be pretty cool," Leo admitted. "Very elegant," Mia agreed. Crisis averted. Nadia high-fived herself mentally. "You're a genius," Enzo murmured, kissing her cheek. "I've had practice." 2 years of practice. Worth every second. She looked at him. Her husband, father of her stepchildren, the man whose suit she'd ruined with a caramel latte 3 years ago. "No regrets?" "None. You?" "None." She smiled. "Though I do think about the coffee sometimes." "The coffee that started everything?" "The coffee that started everything." "Best spill of your life?" "Best spill of anyone's life." She kissed him properly. "I love you." "I love you too." He pulled back slightly. "Though I should tell you." "Tell me what?" "Mia asked me something yesterday, about siblings." "Siblings?" "She wants to know if she and Leo are ever going to get a baby brother or sister." Nadia's heart stopped. "She asked that?" "She asked that, very seriously, with Flopsy as a witness." "And what did you say?" "I said I'd have to discuss it with you." Enzo's eyes were warm. "So, discussing. You want to have a baby. I want whatever you want, but if you're asking whether I'd be happy about a baby, yes, I would. Very happy." Nadia looked at him, at the kitchen that had become hers, at the children arguing about dinosaurs and ballerinas in the next room. "I think," she said slowly, "that a ballerina Spinosaurus would need someone to play with." "Is that a yes?" "That's a we should talk about it more, seriously later, but also possibly a yes." Enzo grinned. The grin he'd had at the restaurant, the night he'd told her he loved her, right before everything exploded. The grin that meant happiness, pure and unfiltered. "I'll take that," he said. "I'll take all of it. You already have all of it. I know." He pulled her close. "That's the best part." From the living room. "Daddy, Mama Nadia, Leo won't share the good crayons." "I'm using them." "You've been using them for an hour." Enzo sighed. Nadia laughed. "Our children need us," she said. "Our children always need us. That's what family means." "I know." She took his hand. "Let's go referee." They walked together into the chaos, their family, their life. All because of spilled coffee and a question that changed everything. Best disaster Nadia had ever caused.